Remember when your allowance could buy you a Wig Wag and a bag of Hostess chips, and you'd feel like the richest kid at recess? There was a time in Canada when corner stores weren't just convenient stops. They were treasure chests packed with treats that defined our childhood summers and lunchbox trades. Today, we're unwrapping the memories of 10 vanished Canadian snacks only true Canadians remember. These weren't just snacks, eh? They were the fuel for Saturday morning cartoons, the rewards after hockey practice, and the sweet currency of schoolyard friendships. Whether you remember cracking open a MACK Toffee Bar on the kitchen counter or hunting for your favorite flavored square in a Jersey Milk Treasures bar, you're about to take a delicious trip down memory lane. But why did these beloved treats disappear from our shelves? Let's dive in and discover what happened to Canada's forgotten snack legends. 10. Wigwag, 1970s, early 1980s. The Wigwag wasn't just a chocolate bar, it was an edible puzzle. Picture a caramel braid dipped in chocolate, stretching and twisting like a sweet rope that dared you to eat it properly. Macintosh created this Canadian cousin to the British Curly Wurly, and for a decade, it dominated penny candy counters across the country. Kids loved the ritual, untwisting the braids, sharing sticky strands with friends, getting deliciously messy in the process. The Wigwag became legendary for turning quiet library study sessions into chaotic affairs as students wrestled with its chewy complexity. So, why did it disappear? Pure manufacturing headaches. The braided caramel required specialized equipment and precise timing that made production costs soar. When Cadbury acquired Macintosh, they took one look at the Wigwag's complicated manufacturing process and decided simpler bars offered better profit margins. By 1982, the last Wigwag twisted off Canadian production lines, leaving behind only sticky memories and dental bills. 9. Rum and Butter, 1970s-1990s. Cadbury's Rum and Butter bar occupied a strange middle ground in Canadian confectionery. Too sophisticated for kids, too sweet for adults, but absolutely perfect for teenagers trying to look grown up. The milk chocolate exterior hid a buttery, rum-flavored fondant that delivered an almost cocktail-like experience in candy form. This wasn't your typical lunchbox fare. Rum and Butter found its home in purses and jacket pockets, pulled out during coffee breaks or shared after dinner parties. The flavor profile felt distinctly Canadian, rich, slightly boozy, and unapologetically indulgent. The bar's downfall came with the health-conscious 1990s, as Canadians began scrutinizing ingredient lists and demanding lighter treats. The heavy butter and alcohol combination felt increasingly out of step. Cadbury's market research showed younger consumers gravitating toward fruitier flavors and lower-fat options. The company quietly discontinued Rum and Butter around 1995, redirecting resources toward more mainstream offerings that promised broader appeal. 8. Malted Milk, mid-century, 1990s. Nielsen's Malted Milk Bar represented old-school Canadian candy craftsmanship. This wasn't flashy or trendy, just solid milk chocolate surrounding a dense malt nougat center that satisfied hunger and sweet cravings simultaneously. Grandfathers bought them by the dozen. Kids discovered them in tackle boxes and glove compartments. The bar's substantial heft made it popular among workers who needed portable energy. Construction crews, farmers, and factory workers appreciated candy that didn't melt easily and provided lasting satisfaction. Hardware stores often kept malted milk bars near the cash register, understanding their customer base valued substance over novelty. Corporate acquisitions killed the malted milk bar. When Cadbury purchased Nielsen's chocolate operations in the 1990s, they inherited dozens of products competing for the same market space. The malted milk's old-fashioned image and limited demographic appeal made it an easy target for elimination. Cadbury's focus on international brands and mass-market appeal left no room for distinctly Canadian treats with narrow followings. 7. Cuban Lunch, Prairie classic, late 1990s. Winnipeg's Cuban Lunch deserves recognition as one of Canada's most distinctive regional treats. This wasn't delicate confectionery. It was a thick chocolate puck studded with peanuts, served in a distinctive red fluted paper cup that became synonymous with Prairie childhood. Born at the Pollen Chambers factory on Ross Avenue, Cuban Lunch conquered Western Canada one hockey rink at a time. The hefty portion and peanut crunch made it perfect for long winter days, while the paper cup prevented messy fingers during important games or movies. The Cuban Lunch's regional nature ultimately doomed it. As national grocery chains consolidated purchasing power, they favored products available coast to coast over beloved regional specialties. When Pollen Chambers changed ownership in the late 1990s, new management couldn't justify maintaining production for what they saw as a limited market. The economics simply didn't work. Manufacturing costs remained high while distribution stayed narrow, creating an unsustainable business model. 6. MACK Toffee Bar, classic format discontinued by late 20th century. The MACK Toffee Bar turned eating candy into performance art. Wrapped in distinctive tartan paper, this rock-hard toffee required serious commitment. The ritual was sacred. Smack the bar on a counter until it cracked into irregular shards, then share the pieces while avoiding dental damage. Macintosh built their reputation on this uncompromising approach to toffee. No soft centers or easy bites, just pure, tooth-challenging sweetness that lasted forever and demanded respect. The tartan wrapper reinforced the Scottish heritage, making each bar feel like an import from the old country. Manufacturing. Efficiency killed the classic MACK bar format. While the toffee itself survived in bag and slab forms, the individually wrapped bars required too much labor for shrinking profit margins. Nestlé, after acquiring the brand, decided consumers would accept toffee in more convenient packaging. They weren't wrong about convenience, but they underestimated how much the ritual mattered to devoted MACK fans. 5. Hostess Potato Chips, 1935-1996. Hostess wasn't just Canada's biggest chip brand, it was our chip brand, period. Those red bags defined Canadian snacking for over 60 years, introducing ketchup chips to the world and making Hostess and hockey synonymous with weekend entertainment. Every flavor told a Canadian story. Ketchup chips reflected our love affair with that tomato vinegar tang. Dill pickle captured our fascination with sour preservation. Sour cream and bacon combined two Prairie staples into crispy perfection. Hostess understood Canadian tastes before we fully understood them ourselves. The name disappeared in 1996 through pure corporate strategy. Frito-Lay, Hostess's parent company, decided global branding efficiency trumped local heritage. Overnight, Hostess became Lay's, gaining international recognition while losing 7 decades of Canadian identity. The chips themselves remained largely unchanged, but losing the Hostess name felt like losing a piece of our cultural DNA. It marked the moment when Canadian snack culture officially became a subsidiary of American food marketing. 4. Bar 6, 1960s-1970s. Rowntree's Bar 6 brought British tea-time elegance to Canadian convenience stores. 6 finger-sized chocolate wafers, each delivering a perfect snap and delicate crunch, wrapped in sophisticated foil that made other chocolate bars look crude by comparison. Bar 6 occupied the premium end of children's allowance spending. This wasn't impulse candy. It was a considered purchase that promised sophisticated pleasure. Kids saved pocket money for Bar 6, then savored each finger with deliberate appreciation, making the experience last. International corporate consolidation ended Bar 6's Canadian run. When Nestlé acquired Rowntree in 1988, they inherited overlapping wafer products that competed against each other. Kit Kat already dominated the wafer category, making Bar 6 redundant in most markets. Canadian distribution ended as Nestlé streamlined their North American portfolio, sacrificing niche British imports for more universally popular alternatives. 3. Nielsen Cinnamon Danish Bar, 1970s. The Nielsen Cinnamon Danish Bar represented peak 1970s flavor experimentation, a white chocolate base infused with cinnamon that somehow evoked fresh pastries in candy bar form. This wasn't chocolate as Canadians traditionally understood it, but something entirely new and wonderfully strange. Limited production meant finding a cinnamon Danish bar felt like discovering treasure. Some stores never carried them, others sold out, immediately creating a cult following among adventurous candy seekers. The unusual flavor profile divided people sharply. You either craved its bakery sweet complexity or found it completely baffling. Niche appeal and production complexity doomed the cinnamon Danish bar. When Cadbury acquired Nielsen's operations, they conducted extensive market analysis, showing the bar's polarizing nature limited sales potential. The specialized flavoring process increased manufacturing costs, while the limited fan base couldn't justify continued production. Cadbury discontinued the bar around 1980, focusing resources on flavors with broader demographic appeal. 2. Jersey Milk Treasures, 1970s-1990s variant. Jersey Milk. Treasures transformed Canada's most beloved chocolate bar into an adventure. Each square contained different flavored centers: caramel, nougat, cherry, orange, turning every bite into a surprise. Kids developed elaborate strategies for eating treasures, saving favorite flavors for last or trading squares with siblings. The Treasures variant capitalized on Jersey Milk's established popularity while offering something genuinely innovative. Unlike imported assorted chocolates, Treasures maintained the familiar Jersey Milk taste while delivering variety in manageable portions. It felt like getting several treats for the price of one. Complexity killed Jersey Milk Treasures. Manufacturing different centers required separate production lines and precise timing that significantly increased costs. Quality control became challenging as different centers aged at different rates, affecting shelf life and consistency. When Cadbury streamlined operations in the early 1990s, Treasures fell victim to efficiency demands despite loyal customer following. 1. Taquitos, late 1980s, Hostess Frito-Lay experiment. Taquitos represented the brief moment when Hostess tried to crack the corn snack market with something entirely Canadian. These twisted corn chips appeared in late 1987, just as Hostess was transitioning into Frito-Lay ownership, creating a perfect storm of corporate confusion and marketing ambition. The name alone generated playground buzz. Taquitos sounded exotic and vaguely Mexican, promising flavors more adventurous than regular corn chips. Kids bought them purely for novelty value, making Taquitos a schoolyard sensation for roughly 18 months. Corporate merger chaos ended Taquitos almost before they began. As Hostess transformed into Lay's, new management inherited overlapping product lines that made little strategic sense. Taquitos competed directly with Doritos and Tostitos, established brands with proven track records and massive marketing budgets. Rather than confuse consumers with three similar products, Frito-Lay quietly discontinued Taquitos in early 1989, making them perhaps the shortest-lived mainstream snack in Canadian history. The good news? Some of these treats still exist in limited forms or regional markets. Dedicated fans have created online communities sharing memories and tracking down remaining sources. Food nostalgia has become its own cottage industry, proving these connections matter more than corporate executives ever imagined. Which vanished snack triggered your strongest memory? Did we miss a regional favorite from your hometown? Share your stories in the comments, because sometimes the sweetest treats are the ones we can only taste in our memories. Subscribe for more Canadian food history, and let's keep these delicious stories alive, eh?